Welcome to the non-Berlin
Berliners. It's been a good minute.
Welcome.
My name is Isaac.
Joshua.
And Andres.
Boom. I'm now 28 since yesterday.
It's awesome. Happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
Feel wiser?
I feel good.
I think it's the biggest,
Feel
it's
good?
the longest run up towards 30 someone ever had.
Exactly. I just got a super nice card from these guys. Both their message was looking good, soon 30. I think I heard this joke many times now.
It's not
I
funny,
like it.
not funny.
I like it.
Yeah, he's not having it.
No, I like it because I'm excited for 30s. 30s is cool.
Yeah, bro.
30s has a lot to
Yep.
offer, I think.
Yeah, bro.
But the 40s even more, right?
Yeah, I think it's the new 30s.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
There's isn't
Yeah.
isn't your 40s and 50s where you can use all your knowledge
Yeah.
and you really like you're the optimal man.
Well, what do you think, Joshua?
I'm just happy to be 22.
Boom.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Joshua is the 20. I think that you're a
I was looking at
22-year-old person more wise that I know
Yeah? I
with 22.
40-year-old in a 22-year-old body.
That's good. That means I am taking
Yeah.
you guys' advice.
Mm.
It's I think what was the Umbrella Academy? Something like that. A series watched a few years ago. That
What was it called?
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Umbrella
Was
Academy,
like-
that's small
I
kid.
remember
That's
that.
small,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's Joshua.
Thank
Yeah.
Yeah. But that boy is so annoying. He's intelligent,
yeah,
but he's so
yeah.
annoying, yeah. That's true. I hope I'm not that.
No.
Good. We're back. I hope you guys didn't miss us too much. We had some troubles getting this recorded.
Getting like sickness everywhere. Hey, like was
Sickness.
few hits for us. Yeah.
In-
And what
Injury.
happened to you, Joshua, last week?
Guys, this is a long story. I don't even know where to start. I guess the beginning, but yeah, we were playing basketball on Friday. Last Friday, I jumped. You know, anytime I play basketball, I say it's not going to get intense, and then it gets intense. After a couple of moves, you know, we played a couple of games and we won. It was me and a friend of mine and that on one team, and we're playing, and then I jumped. I went for a dunk, really, and then I missed the dunk. So I the ball and hit the rim. There was a vibration, went straight to my lower back, and after like 5 seconds, I just couldn't walk anymore. I had to lay
That's
down,
crazy.
and I was just there for like 30 minutes. The guys had to not carry me home, but like support me home. I got into a car, and then I couldn't move for like a week. And I'm back
It's
here
a week
now.
ago, right? And
About a week
still
ago.
hurting?
Yeah, it hurts a lot. It's hard to walk.
You're
but-
drugged up, ready to go.
Exactly, I'm drugged up. I don't even know how this sounds on Spotify, but
But you were playing
Exactly.
with some youth.
I was playing with you, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not any was not any professional.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
professional. No, it wasn't.
Man, you're out of shape. If you get
I know. That was this exact same thing.
You
That
thought you
was
were a young 18-year-old.
yeah, but the thing is, I'm not meant to be out of shape. I'm just like, I think I just hadn't warmed up properly.
Right,
That was it.
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wasn't stretched out. Whereas before, when you're younger, you don't need to. You just go.
I
Did
think that's the thing, that the most dangerous games are the ones that are not professional.
For
Right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
you
yeah,
play
for
with
sure.
some kids or youth, and then you're not warm up, then suddenly
Mm.
like
But you, in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm still
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
full energy, and then you start acting like, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it's just,
Did the boys push you?
no, they were trying to trash talk me, but they lost every single time.
But it doesn't work.
No,
It
it
wasn't
doesn't.
work on you.
It's
No,
like
no, no.
you can't. No, it
You
doesn't.
can't mess with the truth.
No, but exactly. So that happened. And it was tough because the first nights were hard because I had no painkillers, and then once I got like the heavy ones from
Heavy
the
stuff.
doctors, it was better, I guess. And then I tried to, slowly reduce of them. So yesterday I didn't take any. The day before I took less because I just want my body to be a bit more independent.
Yeah.
But it's ups and downs.
You're now a functioning drug addict currently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is good. I'm proud. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Isaac brought you some food, right?
True.
And-
Yeah, exactly.
once.
Yeah. And I wrote you if you needed something.
Yeah. It was
Well-
hard. I won't lie. It was a tough spot to be in
Yeah.
because a lot of people wrote me and it was like the same. Rami Finier, but it was hard.
You should be. Please bring me 2 croissants and a coffee, and then next person you'd be like, yeah, could you please cook something nice for me? And
I
We're
should
gonna
have
bring
been
a
more
dessert.
strategic about it. I think if I was strategic
it was
about
your
it,
chance
I could have.
to use your friends.
Yeah, it was actually my right. A friend told me that. I was like, bro, this is your chance to finally just ask. And if you planned it well, you could have had a good timetable, right? Of like, okay, Monday 1, 2, 3. And I have enough people that I could.
You
ask.
should send out a Google sheet. Yeah, you can just pick your slot when you can come. Bring me some food.
I think from the podcast I would already know what to bring, right?
Yeah?
Like I would bring like tuna fish cans.
True.
Then I would bring some skier.
Oh no!
I didn't even think about this.
Yeah,
No,
I can make all
I
these
have too
things
much
to-
skill at home. I'm
Okay.
tired of taking.
Okay, you want something different.
No, but mishpa is always good. I think mishpa will, if you bring any some form of burrito or like even any Spanish food, I always like.
I could go to König Wusterhausen
I
to
get the
some,
doner.
get some doner. You can see the
Oh,
doner kebab.
That would be good actually. But I heard now the doner is super expensive there. But everywhere now doner is. Yeah,
It's just like 7 euros.
I don't even want to think about it.
Inflation.
Inflation.
Anyway,
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
but that's what
Yeah.
happened to me.
We hope you get better soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hope. Yeah. What did the doctor say? How much longer do they think?
Yeah, he was just like, look, because you're tall, your back is gonna need time. So
There's a lot of back there.
yeah, exactly. That's basically there's more surface area.
it's more stuff.
some of the inconvenience of being tall.
Yeah, but I think a week and a half I should be done taking the painkillers and stuff, and then starting today I can start with a bit of stretching and just like something related to some form of like physio. So just some videos to stretch out the back, strengthen the glutes, and
So no
open up the
basketball
hips.
tonight.
No basketball
No,
for a while. No anything for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
Even just going to the fitness studio, I can't even go. So
I texted Joshua this week if he was doing something fun at home because he had so much time. Like if he was watching something or playing something, and you said you were studying.
yeah, bro. I won't lie. I did watch a movie. I watched a movie, but I didn't really watch any series the way I would normally do. It's been very interesting time.
I watched such a good movie yesterday with my family.
What?
It's so I wasn't expecting it to be good. It's the new Dungeons and Dragons.
Ah,
It's so the movie is based on like this board game from the 80s or whatever it's from. It was really good.
I saw
I
the
think-
trailer.
Yeah?
It was really
I think
good.
you all will like it. It's just like the typical action comedy, fantasy action comedy.
We like
Nice.
Dwayne Johnson's and
Where's
stuff.
it there?
Very good.
Amazon Prime or something like that.
You know,
Yeah, okay.
you know where to find it.
Yeah, do you use a VPN though?
No,
He's like, you need to use a VPN.
no, it's only for torrenting. You use
Yeah.
VPN.
No, you have to. Because I had a
No.
friend who told me this week
Okay, this is interesting though.
that she got fined 900 euros
For streaming only.
for
Streaming.
streaming.
Really?
For streaming.
Yeah.
They got it too. Because I also I won't lie.
But where does she stream? Do you know?
She says Streamio.
Streamio.
I was like, but she was like, it doesn't matter the thing because it's like the thing that tracks it is random and it just like checks different because basically how the thing works is like your IP address basically is like a conversation going on between the two different IP addresses. But like if you don't use a VPN, you are not encoded, right? So your IP address is not covered. It's not like from different places
Yeah.
around the world.
Yeah.
And sometimes basically how the German thing, they just have like a thing that randomly checks and it's really random. So for a long time, nothing might happen to you. And then once it just like checks and it's like, oh, we registered your IP. And then if there's a lot of things that have been stacked up that you might get to, I don't know if you would have to pay for all the things you've watched before or not. I don't really know. But all I would just say is like when she told me that and she was like,
But that's interesting because I never heard anyone that got a fine for
for
streaming.
streaming,
That's
exactly.
the first time I heard
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So it would be
Just
interesting to know actually if that's true or not.
Because she said
Just
she's never downloaded. She only streamed the one movie.
I mean,
Yeah, but-
I believe that she got a fine. I was
Yeah,
wondering
yeah.
if it was exactly
Because
for streaming.
sometimes
She said she
you
never
can be
downloaded.
streaming or like some things that sell you torrent as well. So
Mhm.
I don't know. But I think it's interesting because like where does that money goes to, right? Like is that going towards that let's say like these movies from Universal? Is that really going to
No.
Universal? You know, so it would be because the
I
whole
mean,
idea.
I think it is like at least what I heard. I think it is the movie companies that are suing you. So the money should. A lot of money probably goes to the lawyers, but then the rest of the money is supposed
like
to go to
5
the.
cents.
She said it was the Amtsgericht that was suing her.
The
I know,
what?
I know.
It was the
It's the German-
It's the German guys that Amtsgericht. It was those guys. The Amt.
For what? Amt for what?
I don't know. She just said she's getting sued by the Amtsgericht. Like the law, the German law.
So why? I
Really?
think like what would be great to have like
I don't think
something.
they care. Like,
On bro,
okay, that's super interesting.
But you know, like Spotify, right? When they build the whole series now on Netflix, right? And Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So was that Pirate Bay before, and everyone was streaming content, or no, or
Downloading,
downloading. But they did like a really good platform with all music now goes there. And why can it be now something like that for every other content, visual content, movies,
Well,
series?
there was like when Netflix started,
They were
Yeah.
the
that
one
was
for everybody.
the only one.
Yeah,
But that's why it's so interesting now because now there's like 6-7 services.
you can't subscribe to everything, and everything like now is Paramount out.
Very
and you
expensive.
need to, right?
But Prime is trying. Like I think one thing Prime is really doing which I think I'm liking, is that you can rent stuff externally as well still, which is nice.
That's nice. So you
Yeah.
like
And like
rent it.
they are really feel like they are joining a lot of. So for example, there's some stuff that is like
Apple TV also does that.
Yeah.
I think I could I think I could rent because we don't watch movies that often. Series would be a little bit more annoying because we watch
Yeah.
like there's a new one every week.
Yeah.
But renting, I think I could definitely pay for a movie. Wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, but I would say that
But I just pay for a VPN then.
just get the VPN, bro. Just get it, because even when because she was like, look, I just watched a movie that I'm paying she said I just watched a 900 euro movie.
Well,
Technically.
I watched like
Yeah,
I watched
exactly.
You can produce a movie.
I watched like 100 movies now, so that's maybe 900 euros then.
Yeah, but the question is if you would get fined for those 100 movies, 900 each. I don't know how the thing
Because
works.
if you, the thing is,
bankrupt.
Cause
Yeah, but they'll be
but I
crazy.
think it's so interesting because what happens with torrents is that when you torrent something, you're downloading a movie from someone else's computer,
Exactly.
and anyone who connects to that torrent can see what's happening.
Yeah.
So if you're the movie company, you just connect to the torrent, and then you see who downloads, and then you can be like, "Hey, why are you downloading my movie?"
Yeah, exactly.
So a
Um,
little piece of the movie is in someone's laptop.
Actually, it works like this. Spotify works the same when they started. That you have like 20 pieces of the movie, and it's on many computers, and then you're picking from everyone a little bit, and that's how it's
Okay.
fast. So actually, that's why to make torrent working, you have to have a lot of people that downloaded it and then just leaves it uploading during the day.
So your computer is on.
Yeah. So you put it on as giving the movie to more people.
More people
Yeah.
at the same time.
But it's a bit old-fashioned, right, torrent,
Yeah,
to use that
definitely.
system.
It's-
Or no?
It's
100%.
it's not old fashioned that it's like bad, but it's old fashioned that it's not many people
Slow.
do it anymore.
Yeah.
It got a little bit. I heard it was a little bit trend some past weeks because there was a game that got declined to be on Steam. So Steam is the app store for games pretty much, but it got declined. So they was like, oh, okay, please torrent our game because that's the only way they could get it out easy.
Wow.
So it's a technology that works really well.
Yeah.
But it's not that trendy anymore to do it illegally, like torrenting stuff.
So
Streaming is
what companies would be like main torrent? Like
what do you mean? Like
what platform would be
Oh.
the main?
actually, so that torrenting is just
Torrent.
a sort of file. So then you just need a program to use that file to connect to other people.
Because in the past, like when I was teenager, it was like eDonkey, things
Yeah,
like that.
But they
there's-
are always
You had like
different ones.
uTorrent, BitTorrent, all of these
Yeah,
ones.
those those were the ones I also
Yeah.
knew. uTorrent, BitTorrent.
But I think all of those companies are now bought out of from like big companies bought them. So I think if you ever get into that, but there's no reason to get into that now
Yeah, exactly,
nowadays.
that's what I mean. Like,
But if you ever get into it, there's like super nice, small, simple apps that does that. Yeah.
But it's the same thing also with streaming websites, right? I even think it's nicer to use the smaller ones because then it makes life slightly simpler.
Yeah, but that's why I'm interesting about the streaming thing because it's only by IP they can catch you then, but they don't know how long you watch the movie.
They don't know anything, but they're
So-
journalists, bro.
So I think probably if you hire a lawyer, I think you don't have to pay anything.
I guess.
But yeah,
I don't know. I just when she.
It's
I guess when
interesting.
I heard that, I
so
was
have a
just
lawyer next special guest.
Yeah.
exactly.
Get
Yeah,
Chris, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
we have lawyer friends, right?
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah.
do.
That's a great
could,
idea.
yeah.
I would
To have
love
lawyer,
to.
yeah.
To ask this
But
question.
lawyers are also specialists into different things, right? So we have
Yeah.
to pick a topic
Yeah.
that fits them.
Yeah, but
I have to say, like this whole thing streaming. I don't know from how many people that's like a thing, but that would be an interesting topic because I think so many things that we don't know,
Yeah,
right? Like you just know exactly that. A friend that told you that what?
yeah, exactly.
exactly, which I don't know. I think if I got fined 900 euros right now and then they told me I have to pay by the end of the month, I think that would be extreme. Which is
Yeah.
like
I think that's why you have to get a lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you get a lawyer, but I think because I think the lawyer can do the work in like an hour, and so I guess maybe you pay
Yeah.
100 an hour again. I guess so. Maybe you get 800 euros.
What about like an AI?
AI lawyer.
That's a big thing now, right?
Yeah.
AI lawyer.
AI lawyers, yeah, they're trying to do. There's a company called Do Not Pay,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and all they do is helping people in America not pay for their fines.
Because something like this would be like a classic one. that an AI could do.
Yeah.
You don't need a physical person for that.
Let's try this after the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's see.
If we can find an AI lawyer, we'll talk
We
about
can
it.
even ask ChatGPT
Yeah.
if you can get caught streaming.
I
It's really
definitely know you
interesting.
can get caught because how she explained it, I was like, how can that make sense? It was just more of like, I don't know. I just always thought it was if you download, then you are in trouble. If
Mhm.
you stream, it's all chill. Because the whole concept is like, I never owned the thing. Like, I
Exactly.
never kept it. So I'm not,
Exactly.
it's online. I watch it, but that's not the fine. The fine is like that. This whole thing of even with drugs is like, apparently it's not illegal here to do drugs. It's just illegal to sell drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just illegal to be the person that is downloading it, but not if you watch it. Okay, yeah.
It's like Sweden and prostitution.
Yeah.
It's not illegal to be a prostitute, but it's illegal to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a way to protect the
The
people that
person-
sell.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I don't know if it works, but that's how it works.
Mhm.
which that's a completely different conversation
Yeah.
if that makes sense at all. But that was what I thought it was. That's why I always streamed, never downloaded. But when she told me this, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I really need to, because also I have a VPN. I just never use it. So I was like, yeah, I might as well.
I think I have your VPN.
Yeah, so
I think it's
but
expired. Expired.
it's expired some weeks ago. That's
Okay,
why
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't use it.
Yeah.
But maybe
I
it's
heard
time
Rasmus.
to.
He was telling me about another VPN that is
Yeah.
Super cheap.
cheaper
Okay.
now and it's really good.
Yeah.
But I think like also
But
for
then-
things from America that you can watch some content that is from even not talking about like streaming stuff, but also like things that you can't access. Or even I pay for like a sports service
Mhm.
from Spain because I want to watch that in Spain,
Yeah.
but I can't watch it from here.
Yeah.
But that's how.
But it's legal, right? It's like
Yeah. Well,
legal
yeah. I guess it's
Spain.
maybe illegal to buy it outside of Spain, but yeah, that doesn't matter.
What is legal? What is
Yeah.
illegal?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the first question we
complicated,
should
yeah.
ask.
No, but meaning like I want to pay for it. I'm
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
to pay
exactly,
for it.
yeah.
Exactly.
But I don't want to watch the German
Commentators.
commentary
it's
because
really
I
good.
like the Spanish
Yeah.
ones.
Golazo.
But anyway,
Yeah, we need to say, but I used NordVPN before. It was
Yeah.
I think, but it was like €50 for 2 years, which is okay.
it's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Right, let's get
Good.
into the
Yep.
topic.
Which is
We wanted to, yeah. So today we want to talk about decisions.
Decisions.
I think we definitely talked about this topic before, like
Mhm.
in different areas, but we wanted to talk about decisions, and I think the goal of this little conversation would be to just talk about like what is a decision and maybe how to make some good decisions.
Yeah.
Kind of like what do you look for, and how fast do you need to make a decision? Not making a decision, is that a decision?
Mm.
Like stuff like that. And I don't know, to kick it off, I had wrote down a question here to start it off here. Do you guys remember one of the hardest decision you ever had to make? Is that something that comes up in your head? And did you ever make a really tough decision?
Hardest decision I had to make. I think it will probably be some form of like internal. So I think it's always for me the hardest decisions are the ones that I think I let people. Well, I don't think I let them, but I think in my head I think I let people down that I maybe seek validation from. That's probably anything that has to relate to that. So maybe like when you feel like I wouldn't, because I'm sure there are different ones and I haven't really thought about it in detail, but for me it's always been anything related to letting someone that I look up to down. Those are always the toughest decisions, even though most times it's not that serious. Like most times it's probably not that deep and they understand and it's fine.
So
But
meaning like you like, so it's a decision, conscious decision that you're making to let someone down.
no, maybe it was I did something and then in byproduct I think it would let them down. And
Okay.
maybe it didn't even let them down, but just any decision that is in that line
Mhm.
tends to always
So
be
more
hard
like
ones.
involuntary decisions, would you say?
Yeah,
Like
more
something
like-
that is not done on purpose.
No, something that is done
Like-
on purpose, but you think that a
Mhm.
like a sub effect of that
Okay,
would be
right.
at the same time letting someone
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe it's like deciding to drop out of university right now.
Mhm.
I think that would be a really good decision for me. Okay, right now probably not because I'm already done, but almost done. But I think if that ever happened, my parents would probably be heartbroken.
Mhm. Okay, yeah.
And that would be
yeah,
an
yeah.
interesting. That would be an example of a decision where it would be like, it would be hard just because of that.
Would be like a second grade impact on your
Exactly.
decision
On my
someone else.
decision,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Okay, good.
Thinking, okay, how would this affect my
Mhm.
friend? Even though, honestly, in the large scheme of things, probably if you think about it logically, if you dropped out earlier, for example, at the beginning, you learn the skill quicker, you could start making money earlier. The opportunity cost is like there's so many ways to justify why it makes sense as a decision,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's still all this emotional thing attached to it, that's an example, I would say.
Mhm.
It's a good example.
Yeah,
Very good example.
yeah. The thing is, I think everything this decisions that we make, it's really good to see the impact that also has on other people, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, maybe that's one of the things that makes it hard for me. Was I think like first thing that came to my mind now when you said that was coming to Berlin, but I would say not so much coming. I think was the moment I made the decision to stay.
Okay.
Because coming is easy, because
Just trying, right? Like,
yeah,
oh,
just
let's
trying
go
something
there.
different,
What's to
adventure.
lose?
Yeah, but when you decide to stay, I think that has a bigger impact.
Yeah.
Do you remember the like time you said
Mhm.
you and Sheila was like, okay, we're gonna stay?
Was a bit of wrestling with opportunities that I had there for job opportunities as well, and
In Berlin,
no, in Spain.
in Spain.
Exactly. So then at that point in Berlin was not that great, but then making the adjustment to stay here was a process. Was not like a moment of 1 week decision. It was a
Yeah.
process
Right.
of maybe like 3 months, and I think that's kind of like the slow. Maybe like not 3 months, but maybe like a couple of months.
Yeah. But I have a question. Do you think that do you ever look back at that decision and were interested in seeing what life would have looked like even if it wasn't Spain, maybe it was New York, because I know you've talked about that
Mhm.
before. Like what life would have been like if you went that route? Because
It's interesting.
because I think is especially with big, I won't say because
Mhm.
big or small decisions. I think all decisions are important, but there are these life altering decisions
Yeah.
that tend to just like turn the course of everything else that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like we never know, right?
That's
Like-
Yeah.
You can think about it, but I think like I don't really know. Like I don't really think much about that. I think more about like I still look towards the future, right? Like okay, what do I want to do next year? What do I want to do next 10 years? And I think that thing's the only thing you can change. But I don't think it was like a wrong decision or like a good decision. I think the decision is just good to make it. So you commit to something, not to be in between two things all the time. And I think that's sometimes like what I think the moment that I look back in my life, the more progress I made is when it was clear, okay, I'm going for this.
Yeah.
And if I'm in between two things or three things, it doesn't come any good. I don't see any good progress from that.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say like I don't know for you, Isaac, like you told me like sometimes like in between two different. Well, maybe it's a bad example, but
Like
two different
job
jobs,
opportunities,
right? Like,
yeah.
thinking I'm doing this, but I also want to be doing this at the same
Mhm,
time,
mhm.
and you never really commit to some 100%.
Yeah.
But I think like you can still do two different things. But I think when it comes to living in different places, I think like you just need to commit to one. For me, it's like driving. Okay, I commit to one way, and then like then you check. Oh, maybe it's faster the other way. Well, I already committed to this way,
Yeah.
and then we'll see. Like,
Yeah, that's true. And like that indecision also just makes
Yeah.
you less
yeah,
focused on the way you're going, and you just
Yeah.
might be slow because you're still
Yeah.
trying, okay, maybe what if I quickly dip out now and stuff like that.
And I feel like in that kind of like moving topic, I feel like there's just like the older I get or the more I live in like this city, for example, I feel like less of it matters much.
mm-hmm.
Like I feel like for say I had a dream to go to New York, and I think if I would do New York instead of Berlin, like in the end it would be pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like I don't see like the big
Yeah.
things would not change
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I don't believe so. Like I don't believe so. Like when it comes to, because you still have to find friends that you like, you still have to find someone to date that you like. It's just the same things in the end,
Yeah.
like that are like the big things.
Yeah.
And you have to find a job that you like.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I do think some things will change. Like, for example, it's like if you went to an American company and you were in New York, you would probably,
Mhm.
if you dated someone, the chances are high you probably date an American or.
Yeah, what I mean.
No,
but
but
if
yeah, I
you
get
zoom
you.
out,
In the grand
It's the
scheme of
same
things,
thing.
it's the same. Like date somebody, get a job, find friends. It's all the
it's
same.
It's
Just
the same like
Mhm.
big
Exactly.
core
Yeah.
things.
I think it's unless it's really connected to career choices, right? Like that you need to be there for your career to move forward.
Mhm.
But I think most of the people, I don't know, like most of the decisions you make is I don't know, based on I think can work exactly same wherever you are, especially right now with remote work and everything.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Western countries, I think anything is possible. Yeah.
That's
I think one interesting thing for me is that if you make a decision to go somewhere because you hate the place you are,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be interesting to think like, because all the things I didn't like from Spain,
Mm-hmm.
meaning now when I go back to Spain, I love.
Yeah, really?
Meaning not all the things, but I'm like, oh, I miss this.
Yeah, sure.
But it used to be things that annoyed me.
complained
Yeah,
about.
for sure.
And I think like it's
Like
more,
the beach, the good weather, all
The
that
heat.
yeah,
stuff.
for example, it's so hot all the time.
Yeah.
So bright. No, but I think like for me, it's more like what's the internal thing that you carry with you,
Yeah.
with your own filters and your own things. You will carry wherever you go, right?
Yeah, it's like changing job or
Yeah.
changing girlfriend.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
bringing the same baggage.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if
You're
you're
part of it,
yeah, if you're miserable in Berlin, you're gonna be miserable in the beach,
Anywhere else, yeah.
right? Like
As long as you don't change anything, right?
Yeah,
No, 100%.
exactly, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
If you have the same mindset, you're gonna
Yeah.
bring that anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with which also I think like a new place really gives you. I was listening to an audiobook that was talking about change on when can you make change of habits, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying that changing city or changing a location physically is a really good moment to change habits,
Yeah,
Mm.
it does.
because it helps you, because exactly like everything is different. So
Mhm.
you're wherever you go to sleep, you
Yeah.
go to your bakery, wherever you go, the patterns that you built over years, now they're all
Or
changed.
broken, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, it's that really good window, that first 3 to 6 months, to change things as well.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense. It's the same with it's the same when you move somewhere and you don't have any friends.
Yeah.
The only way for you to get friends is you trying a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And growing up with friends,
Mhm.
usually you have some people
Yeah.
that are always there. Doesn't matter how bad or a good friend
Yeah.
you are, they're gonna be probably there.
Yeah.
It shows you like the intention of making decision to make a friend, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to do that where you grow up. It's just the people that you have around.
Yeah, it's more like I guess
Yeah.
it's more like growing up with
Yeah.
people. It's more like family in them,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
they're gonna be there. Yeah, I think that's super interesting.
Yeah, I think what I find also is that, well, I love it though. I love the opportunity to try and restart, because it's not really a restart, as you said, if you don't really change anything, but that opportunity to try things differently is also really
The one thought I really sticks with me over the last, like especially this last couple of years. I think the 40s crisis type of thing. But true, like you think more about, okay, what do I want for my next 10 years? What do I want for my next, right? Like it's something that
Yeah.
you think about. And for me, the one thought that really stuck with me is the thought that I can change. If I don't like something from the last 5-10 years,
Mm-hmm.
I know I can change a few things for the next 5-10 years to look different.
yeah.
And I can do that at any day.
Yeah,
You know, like, and
do
I
it
think
tomorrow.
I think that's whole thing that really sticks with me, that thought.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I feel like in a prison thing. I feel stuck, or I can feel contained somehow. Like I'm in this
Exactly.
thing, and I know I can't get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that because exactly you feel like that if you think too much of how you did things, right?
Mhm.
Or you start saying like, "Oh, I'm this person.
Yeah,
I always do this thing, and that's why I'm always late because I'm like a late person."
and maybe you don't even say it. Maybe other people say it
Maybe
to
other
you,
people say it,
and you kind of like you
Accept
have
that
it, accept that.
identity.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing that I've been thinking a lot for me. Like I can change, not so much changing who I am, but I can change the outcome
Yeah,
in my life. If I don't want to change anything, if I like the last 5 years and I want the next 5 years to be exact the same,
mm-hmm.
then keep doing the same thing
Just
you're
have to
doing.
repeat the same
Yeah.
task.
It's awesome. Yes. If you like it, keep doing it.
Keep doing that.
I see one thing like if I think about my colleagues, I think all my colleagues are older. So, and I think you can tell me on this, is this something that comes the older you get? Because I feel like they are very, or at least it feels like they're very sure in their identity, kind of like they don't care that much about what other people think. And I'm thinking if that is something that you might, it makes sense, right? The older you get, you grow in more and accepting, okay, this is the person I am.
Mhm.
And and there's pros and cons,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna use it the best I can, because I feel like, or it can be maybe it depends on the person, but like this validation from people that actually doesn't matter what they think.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's a really good observation. I think the less unknowns you have, the more confident you are
Yeah.
Right?
About like I know
Exactly.
about you, who
about
you
you.
are. Mm-hmm.
So if you stick into something, let's say like my job is fixed, my hobbies are this, my who I am, my philosophy is this.
Right.
It's not too many unknowns there anymore
Mm.
because you accepted that or you built that for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the more unknowns variables you have, maybe you're not so or doesn't look so confident because you have more open things.
So are you saying that to be more confident, you should probably get more knowns? I'm just asking.
No, I'm saying, but I think that you can see it in a positive or you could see it
So
as a
the
negative.
way- exactly. So, for example, if I was a younger person, I was like, okay,
Mhm.
a good way to maybe be more firm in the, because I think that's also a very common characteristics with younger people, which is they're very unsure, tend to be like believe something is right, but not believe it with their
Mhm.
entire heart, and that could be the truth. It could be due to the lack of experience and knowns in the
Yeah.
different areas of their life. And maybe a good question, if you reverse engineer that, would be
Yeah.
maybe defining those critical decisions where it's like, and coming to a clear conclusion in those different areas that you could say, this is a known in this area,
Mhm.
and then in the next area.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more of those things are solved, maybe you could be more confident in your,
Mhm.
not decisions, choices, but anything of that sort. Is that would that be something you would say?
Right.
Like,
I
to
think
both of you guys.
I think the trick, something that's so tricky, right, is that things also change then, right,
Mhm.
by every year.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, depends what you talk about. I guess core values of like being a good person is not gonna change.
Mhm.
Like the world is not gonna change that being a good thing. But for example, when it comes to like maybe how to do things at work or how things are,
Yeah.
that could change also, right? So
Yeah.
it's such an interesting, right? Like we usually say as a joke that, or maybe not as a joke, as a truth, that older people get more complicated,
Mhm.
and I think that's part of it. The more
Yeah.
secure in yourself, you're probably gonna be a more complicated person also,
Yeah.
because you have more ideas set.
Mhm.
So I think that would be the challenge, right? The more secure you get into yourself, how do you keep yourself open to new ideas while also
Mhm.
being secure in your own ideas? That's something
Yeah,
came to
definitely.
my mind.
Because I think like everything that you became confident and secure is because you had some validation or
Yeah.
it's been proof that this works.
Right.
Mhm.
You've seen some proof
Yeah.
for
So then you're
Perfect.
like, okay, this works. This is what I keep, right?
Right.
Like, let's say with your work colleagues, on your work, on your career, you know, these things, certain things that work.
Hmm.
Now, someone that is younger maybe or needs to still look for these things,
Mhm.
the good things that they can find a different way.
Yeah.
And they can find a way to do it maybe that is not the way that the older person knows how. So it's the whole tension all the time, right? Between generations. Because then
yeah.
the older guys can bring that proven things that works, and the younger guys are gonna always challenge that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like both has good things and bad things. I think is if you look into, for me, I'm thinking now like relationships, right? If you are dating with someone, I think the level, if I when I was dating my wife, it was the level of confidence on, it was different than now.
That's a good question.
Mhm.
Actually, let's go there.
Because, right? Like you can be a confident person,
Mm-hmm.
but that relationship needs some trust. Needs to
Mhm.
build some highs and lows. Needs to go through some tough moments
Mm-hmm.
so it gets strengthened.
You also don't show all your sides when
Exactly.
you date, no?
I can be totally showing more who I am
Yeah.
now
Mm-hmm.
than I was showing my best side before, right? I was showing like just my good side.
100%.
And I think that maybe goes with age, but also with time on the relationship as well.
Yeah.
There's not so many unknowns in that relationship
Same,
right now,
Same.
right?
So-
Is it
that's
make sense or?
Yeah, 100%. But that's also such an interesting topic. We just jump between topics here, but it's like, because then the less unknowns, how do you keep it interesting
Mhm.
then? Like,
Yeah.
what do you do to get to the next level,
Yeah.
or what do you do to learn more new things and stuff. I think that's really interesting.
And I think I find myself also there sometimes thinking like, okay, this is set, this is working, this is going, this. But I think like I need to look for me into, you want to call it like, if we call it the unknowns or the challenge, I need to look for me for more challenges.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like that's something I only can do for myself. And even with maybe with Sheila, say, hey, what about if we try this? What about we try a new thing, a new project, or what about, you know, like something I've been thinking a lot lately, because I think otherwise it's so easy to get settled into the things that are working already.
Yeah, but couldn't that also be a fixed thing? Couldn't a fixed, because I don't see why they don't go together. Couldn't a fixed or a known in one's life be consistently seeking new stuff? For example, consistently trying. I guess I don't understand why that couldn't be
because I think we talked about like knowing yourself, right? And I guess you can always be looking to understand yourself more. But I guess maybe you realize, I'm not the most comfortable at parties with 100 people. Just an example. I guess you can find ways to handle that in a good way. But maybe you as a person will just never be that top charming guy that loves 100 people and just goes around talking to everyone. I don't know. I don't know if it's a bad example, but I'm guessing like that would be a fixed thing. Maybe you learn, okay, I believe that this is where I maybe are doing the best, or maybe at a party I should focus on doing these things because I think that's where I'm gonna enjoy it and I'm gonna be having the best time. I feel like that could be a fixed thing, right? Like,
Yes.
know your personality maybe.
Yeah, that sounds quite realistic, but I also don't see why that's a bad thing. Which is what you're saying.
It's not a bad thing.
It's just more of like that could lead to a situation where you are turning away opportunities for growth, for experiencing new things, because you already decided I am this kind of person.
Yeah, like maybe you don't become a manager then, because a manager is all about talking to people 24/7 every day.
Yeah.
Just an example, right?
Example.
It's an interesting thing with personality you mentioned, because I read that personality, like to do a personality profile test, the people usually wait until you're 25.
Oh yeah.
Because your personality is not fully
Formed yet.
formed.
Yeah, then I guess I need some forming
Yeah,
to do.
you need 3 years, 3 years more forming. But it's interesting because that shows that it's a lot of change in the first years of your life.
Yeah.
The first,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and even like with Joy, that she's not even 2 years old, and you can already see like so many things change so quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like the most change of your life is that first 25 years, I would say, and the rest, I don't think. So I'm not talking about needing change all the time, because it would be crazy to have that pace of changing, right? So quick.
Yeah.
But I think more, okay, you have some things working, you know a bit more of who you are, you know your personality, you know your strengths, you can also know your weaknesses. You know more about you. But like one thing I was thinking now, like in where I grew up, it always got my attention when I saw like all the men in the bar, just in the evening, just having a drink or playing to these like machines, like games.
Yeah, like
I don't know how you call
gambling
it.
machines. Yeah,
And it's the same people every night.
every day.
Yeah, or every
Yeah.
day, even in the morning. And I thought like you don't end up there like from one day to the other, right? Like something, and you talk to these people and they're super set on this is who I am. Like I did my job.
That's the identity.
My like all the people I worked.
Yeah.
I retired now. I just
Right.
want to do this and enjoy, and this is my personality. This is who. And I don't know, like I thought it's not it's not crazy. It's just normal. It's just normal people, right? It's not anything super crazy. I'm not talking about someone that wrecked the life or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like a normal
Average.
getting all the
Yeah.
They feel like they're done with life, kind of,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah, it
like
really
kind of
is.
wrapped up. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, is
That's
this
interesting.
thing of, I think there are a couple of things I have to say. The first thing is that I heard something that someone said. It was that I think I don't know if I have said it before, but it's that Rome wasn't built in a day. But also Rome didn't fall in a day. It fell how it was built,
Yeah.
built brick by brick.
Yeah.
You know, it was built slowly, but it also fell slowly. Because Rome, what was special about it didn't fall because it just fell because the internal, we could say culture, we could say people got complacent. We could say
Right.
that things just weren't working as well, and people took things for granted and thought it was going to last forever.
We're talking about Rome, the empire,
Yeah,
not
Rome,
the city. then,
yeah,
right?
not the city itself. Well, technically, Rome is still standing,
True.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point.
and I really think that's how it is in our lives.
Mhm.
In anything, in decisions, it's less of like especially because I don't think people who end up being even radical in random things are just wake up one day and radical. I think it's just they don't feel radical because it happens so slowly.
Mhm.
We also talked
That
about
ma-
it.
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
me think, yeah, because that's such a good point. That's like why making a bad or unhealthy decision for you is probably not gonna feel that bad for a while.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But it's the long term effect,
it's the
right?
long-term
Because
effect.
like you say,
Yeah.
you're kind of like slowly falling into something bad.
Exactly.
Like maybe I just stupid example up because you said it like, well, maybe you try gambling. It's probably super fun. I probably would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the first couple of times it would
Yeah.
feel like nothing.
Yeah.
But then gambling every day,
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably not the best.
But if you lose, let's say,
a million.
it gives you a bit of a kick, and then no, meaning if you lose a friend or you had an argument with your wife, or
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you know what, I just go again to this thing
Yeah,
that made me
right.
feel good, for 1 hour, 2 hours,
Yeah.
and I think that's the slowly thing that you're saying, right? Like
Yeah.
the slowly is not. No one. I don't think anyone goes there and says like, you know what, I
This
retire.
is me now.
Yeah, this is me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
start gambling every day, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna drink some drinks every day in the morning, and that's gonna, from now on,
Yeah,
a new version.
it's so true.
I can't.
It's so true.
Yeah, but that's
I
true.
mean, I guess
Yeah.
but I guess we come back to everything there. Like if you build a skill or anything, you just can't do it quickly. You just have to.
Yeah, and I think like that. I think for me, like, or for anyone, like that's only listening the conversation. I think there are always things that we can do that only we know. That if we identify ourselves, like, what are the few things that if I change will have a big impact
Mm.
in my life? Because it's usually these little things, right? It's usually like, oh, if I change, let's say like picking 1 hour of social media a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I change this for this, which is the dream I want to have about building, like I want to learn how to take photos.
Yeah.
So if instead of scrolling for 1 hour, I'm gonna
Be the one that takes a picture.
actually create the content for 1
Mhm.
hour.
Yeah.
That, you put a few years in that, and that would be a big difference.
Yeah.
And you just did a small change.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to
Sure.
say because but I think it's something that only you know what are the things that you do, because not that generic. I cannot tell you because I don't know what you do.
Yep.
But I know what I do,
Yeah.
and I know, and it's these little things.
Yeah.
And I think the longer you take to change them, once you identify them, the more difficult they are, because you start feeling guilt that you know what you need to change and you're not
Exactly.
changing it.
And I think it makes
Right?
it harder to even make the change.
Yeah. And you accept that for you.
Exactly.
Well, this is stronger than me. Well, it's not that. Or you build excuses in your head. It's not that bad.
Mm.
I can compensate somewhere else.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can. So
exactly.
you start with yourself, arguing with yourself
Mm.
to justify not changing something that you know that can have a positive impact in your life.
Instead of just trying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just human, right? I think we are built like that.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
No, but that's really powerful. I think I don't know. I think it's really hard because it's this thing that is because the actual issue or the problem that one would be facing is how does one maintain current state with future goal or future desire?
Exactly.
Because I think that's really the hard part that's going
Yeah.
on here is
Yeah.
how do I deal with the fact
Right.
that I want something, I don't have it right now, but if I do this uncomfortable thing, I will get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the thing maybe I don't want is more comfortable right now due to, we could say, habit patterns, dopamine, XYZ.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just like the switch for today for tomorrow
Yeah.
is hard when I can't touch tomorrow and I
Yeah.
can't touch today. And
That's so good.
It would just be like this consistent struggle of there's so many ways you can replace what exactly you are switching what for.
Mm-hmm.
But
And sometimes
I
it's
don't
not even. I was thinking about work. Sometimes it's not even uncomfortable stuff. It's just distractions, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to tell the guys like I had one of the best weeks at work, I would say, this week. And this only happened because part of talking about it on podcasts, like, you know, career and stuff. So then I asked my manager, I said, like, I'm bored, I want more to do. So and then because of that, there came up an opportunity for me to join another team to create a new application. So now I'm currently in 2 teams, which sounds maybe funny or annoying for some people, but I know that my capacity was much bigger.
Yeah.
But I could also, like, if I didn't say anything, I could also be in the other team and do the exact, like, would do the exact same amount of work I'm doing now, but in 2 teams. I would do only the 1 team part, and I would get paid the same. I would, everyone would be happy. Nothing would change.
Yeah.
I think it's such a tough thing to think about with decisions, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I have to somehow find the motivation for me to take on more stuff without. I mean, I know because of this, there's definitely more possibility for bigger reward in the future because I learn more.
Yeah.
I learn a lot more stuff, but there's no instant gratification.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I am really happy because it's fun. But it's such a tricky thing to do something more just because.
Yeah.
I think that's tricky, and I just wanted to say that because that's been so good for me.
But that's interesting because why do you find that fun?
Yeah, because I know that I liked this for fun. I know that I like the pressure. I
Jeez,
I
you sound
crave,
like an athlete, bro.
so this is a bad and a good thing. I crave the, what do you call it? I want people to say I'm good, you know? And to get to that position, I need to do something, right?
You like
I like the validation.
public recognition.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
validation, you know? And that can be a very bad thing, I think, but used in a good thing, it pushes a lot.
Yeah.
You know, makes me work really fast and encouraged, and it's like competition, right?
Yeah.
It comes from competition.
But I think exactly that you found something that matches a few factors together.
Yeah.
And for another person, it could be really annoying to have now 2 things to do
Yeah.
because they see it totally different. They see that, oh, it's an extra thing to do.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have to do this
Yeah.
now, right? But I think that that's interesting because for some people, maybe that could be a good tip, like that finding something that matches these things of like your personality, what you like doing.
Mhm.
You like competition, so you put yourself into that and see what happens
Yeah.
because you also don't know what's going to happen before putting yourself there.
No.
But then you actually enjoy it, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
And I think that could be a good thing to also think, okay, like I like this area, I can ask for more here and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that helps me. And worst case scenario, you just go back to what you were doing
Exactly.
before, right? So
And it also pushes me to do the other work better because now I only have a small portion of the week left to do that work.
Yeah.
So if I don't do it correctly,
yeah.
everything kind of falls apart, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, right?
The good thing, because you are stretching your capacity,
Mm-hmm.
the good thing is that you cannot never go back to the old. Because if you go back to that, you
Yes.
think like, well, I
But
was
I-
doing this in 5 hours
I
now,
know.
right?
Yes, but I did, like, because I definitely had this capacity before,
Mhm.
but then for a time I went back
Okay.
to that, and I feel it with different things. Then you know,
Mhm.
you feel it with YouTube, you feel it with maybe a side project
Yeah.
that never ends up going anywhere because you get bored, or gaming. Like I thought about that so much. The times where I'm really into competitive gaming is when I'm bored at work. Because you need to feel the competitive part,
Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah.
of your brain.
Yeah.
I'm so sure that is it, you know.
Yeah. But what does that say about?
That's so interesting. Yeah.
What does that say about being successful, or like I don't mean being successful, but I mean being successful at anything, because I think it is easy to think that the reason why people are always consistently pushing is because they just always are pushers, right? Which we all, as you said, all have this desire, but it could just also be that they have the constraints put in place to not allow them do anything apart from pushing. Like what you just said now, it was, because what I just heard from everything you just said, it was once I put the constraints that like put me in a situation where it was like my competitive energy was pushed towards work, and like what you said, also just like removing the distractions, it's quite easy, not easy, but it's easier to put all your energy in that direction. And I find that very interesting because it's like, because now it's like, Okay.
Because otherwise you feel like it's like, is this my purpose? I work 2 hours a day and then just do nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, like in a big picture, maybe creating these applications at my work is not gonna bring better life for many people, but just like doing some work that also benefits the company, but I personally become better at something.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that is just like, I think that is just, I don't know, it sounds like a workaholic, but I think really believe everyone needs to work.
Yeah.
I don't think we will function without
Yeah,
work. We will
I
get
agree.
so weird.
I agree.
And I think it's the whole concept of like also work is not just the hours or the money you get paid, but it's the value you bring.
Yeah.
Yep.
And bringing value to that application or to the team brings value in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole exchange that's happening. I think for at work,
Mm.
that if you just think about, because how can, like exactly in the same companies, different people, they pay differently.
Yeah,
It's connected
exactly,
to the
yeah.
value they bring
Yeah.
to the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like an orbit, like it's a funny value, right?
Yeah.
Like it many factors. Maybe they were better at asking.
Sure, yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it
it's-
should be connected to that.
And talking only in the work, because you can bring a
Yeah.
lot of value in your family, that is
Yeah.
different, right? But in that, I think the more I see it like that, the more it makes sense also
Mhm.
to think that it can bring purpose to what you're doing,
Yeah,
right? Because you're not just otherwise you see yourself like a one more number in the system.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And you can be, if you like, that's the, I guess that's the other side of it. If you can also choose to be that. Maybe you just had a kid, and if I would, which I know I could, you can work 2-3
Mhm.
hours a day and do the enough job that no one will complain.
Yeah.
Then you have
Yeah.
5 hours a day for
Mm.
your kid.
Yeah, that's a
But
very.
you're not gonna learn that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like working out, right? If you just do the basics without doing anything heavier, nothing is
There's
gonna
no
grow.
contraction. No, but I think a good summary to take away from that would be your work. Your work works on you more than you work on it. I think that's always something that I try to tell myself. That I've heard as well. Like your work works on you more than you work on it. Another question, guys, to you guys. I think because I was having this conversation with a friend of mine this week, and we were saying, I was basically telling him that I just realized that I never have really made any major decisions in my life by myself completely. So most of the times, the
Great.
decisions that
It's a great point.
most of the decisions that I have made tend to be already made for me.
Yep.
And not already made for me by anybody else, but sometimes already made for me by life. And any really big changes that I've made have come from I had no other option scenario. So let me give an example. I learned German because that was the only option to learn. That was also why I learned so quickly. That was why I ended up being so good at it. I don't think if I had the option to, I would have learned German at all, or would have been this good. Right?
Yeah.
Because I had no option. It was German or nothing. And I do think when anybody, not just myself, but I think if anybody commits themselves to something long enough, it's quite unrealistic that you don't get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I had no option. It was the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
thing
yeah.
we focused on.
Exactly.
That's with German. Or anything else that I had to do. It was, maybe I had not two options and then I just chose one. But it was never like, the world is your oyster, literally. It was always a bit of, you are Nigerian, you are an Auslander, so all these things maybe don't go with you. You only have one or two. And then it's like, okay, that makes sense. I'll go with Machimbao, right? Or whether it was the course, whether it was the thing. And then I started to realize, and of recent, things have been opening up more. There's more of you could legit do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
However, now you get in a scenario, what Andres also said, where sometimes the choice itself doesn't matter, but you're like just choosing and committing to something is the more important thing.
Yeah.
But the question that I'm trying to bring out of this would be, first of all, what do you guys think about making a decision when you actually can choose to walk away? Because I think a lot of people make decisions where the opportunity to walk away has already been removed, so they don't really have the option to walk away. So for example, most people are working at jobs where it's like, I need to pay my bills, right?
Yeah.
So I have to work, right? So it's maybe they're working at a cafe and they would like to work as something else, but the only reason why they are there is because I have to pay my bills. So it's kind of like I have no option. And maybe I'm not. So that's the first question. And then the second question would be, how do you handle that scenario?
Yeah.
How do you handle a scenario where you just move from not having a lot of choice to now having all the choice in the world? And how do you handle that and still remain productive to still, one, make a quality decision, but also make a decision and not just be stuck in limbo?
Yeah.
It makes me think about getting married or like having a kid, right?
Mhm.
That's a you can walk away, but it's not.
Yeah, this is bigger consequences.
Yeah,
if you walk
bigger
away,
consequences.
Yeah, I like this. It's a leadership principle that I learned. I really think applies for this because it's also a human behavior, right? So you have status quo,
Mm-hmm.
which is I don't make any decisions. I
Mhm.
just stay where I am, right? It's like nothing challenges anything. You just
Yep.
go with where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have people making decisions out of vision and people making decisions out of disaster. So meaning vision, you make a decision because you want to go somewhere. Let's
Mhm.
say I want to go to Berlin, plan, I make a decision to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, out of disaster is when you are forced to make a decision,
Mm.
right? And I think that's not
You're
the best.
reacting.
Exactly, it's not the best. It's not the best moment to make a decision because you don't have many options.
Yeah.
When you're forced, it's limited time. You need to do a decision now
Mm-hmm.
because let's say like everything is so bad here. I'm forced now to, let's say, I'm forced now to go to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited too long there, and I didn't make the decision out of I didn't make the decision out of vision. I made it because I was forced into it.
Yeah.
And I think about the status quo, like because you're not challenging anything, you're comfortable where you are.
Yeah.
Then it gets to a point, and I think that what separates people as well. Like you probably see that, like whoever makes the vision decision, they have things to choose, but they don't have all the things clear that it's gonna work.
Mm.
But waiting so long to make a decision, also you don't know if it's gonna work neither.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Right.
I must say, I think it's so interesting, and I think the other side to it is like I've made many decisions like that, and I think the core concept there is a difference is that then you have to just be lucky.
Yeah.
For example, I
Yeah.
think about getting this
Mhm.
apartment. We had
Yeah.
2 weeks to find an apartment because we just didn't care until 2
Mhm.
weeks before, and then we're like, oh, let's do it, and then we moved in a 3-people WG,
Mm-hmm.
and that was not like a good experience. I would say it was hard to
Mhm.
do that WG. But in the end, now me and my wife has this amazing apartment because of that bad decision, right?
But I could argue that saying that you made the decision not to live here when it was tough.
What do you mean?
You said like the VG was not great,
Yeah,
but you also made the decision to keep staying here, and everyone left. Everyone has left, right?
everyone has left. Yeah, I
And-
mean, maybe I didn't give them any choice to stay, but
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, 'cause
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's funny, like, but doing like a decision like that,
Yeah.
it's more about being lucky then, because it could,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it could go. Maybe we could have ended up in a horrible apartment,
Yeah.
and then you're just stuck.
Yeah.
But yes, your point stands.
No, but no, I understand. I think luck plays a big part of
Yeah,
making
100%.
decisions.
yeah,
Because you don't know. But I don't
Yeah.
know if it's luck or what it is. But I think like at least if you want to be the one, I mean, at least don't come up with an excuse of why something didn't work. At least you can go back. I want to be back to me to say like, you know what, this is going wrong because I made the decision to do that,
right. Yeah,
and I can make a decision to change it as well. Otherwise, you feel powerless all the time, and you think, oh,
exactly.
and then you have little things like little luck, things that
Yeah.
comes up and like, oh, that was great.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that, but
Mhm.
it turned out great.
Yeah.
But I think when you're saying like with what I was trying to say at the beginning, it doesn't sound too complicated. I think maybe I made it more, but it's more like if you don't challenge anything, you find yourself in a place that you're going to be forced to make a decision.
Yep.
Mhm.
And if you challenge something, better grab some vision for your life, and you plan for that, and you make decisions to follow that,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And that can come good or bad,
Yeah.
but at least you're not in a desperation moment when then you are like, let's say you made really bad choices with money, end up in a place that you're bankrupt, in debt,
Mhm.
whatever, and now you need to make decisions to build your life out of that. If you would have done it earlier, what could it be? Like, what you have a dream of making $1 million before, you making decisions for that before you are
Already in
in a really
place.
bad place.
Yeah.
And I think it's, I mean, and with that said, I think we're not, all of us, we don't make always the greatest choices. So I think that's also totally
Sure.
fine to pick up wherever you are and bring vision to wherever you are.
Yeah.
But I think if it's only waiting for a bad moment and just getting out of that bad moment, you're gonna get back into another bad situation.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want? Yeah, but it's like, in simple, super simple terms, it's like, do you want to shape your life, or do you want life just to happen to
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you don't, so you guys are saying if you don't choose to shape first, you will be shaped either way. Like
Yeah.
if you don't take the step,
Exactly.
basically, if you don't
Yeah.
punch first, you
Yeah.
will be punched
But
eventually.
the cool thing is, wherever you are right now, you can start shaping. So, like, maybe you didn't shape anything in your life, and you're at the position, but there's no like start and end. You just choose when to start making decisions.
It's a mindset. That's the whole
Mhm.
thing. It's a mindset because, when I'm talking with people, the more I maybe I'm a bit older than you, but I think like the more I quickly can identify what's the mindset behind.
Yeah.
Because talking with someone, I can't do this because I'm doing this, and this. No, I can't join you for that because I'm doing my masters. I'm doing the whole approach for me sounds sometimes like, don't use your masters or your studies or your work as an excuse. You are doing that because you want to do that.
Right. It should be like, I'm
Exactly.
not joining this because I'm
Yeah.
focusing on this.
Exactly.
It's a different.
Yeah. I need to say don't
Yeah.
but you don't need to apologize for something you are choosing to do,
Yeah.
right? And that kind of like, it's like,
It's very
oh, sorry, that's my circumstances of my life. Sorry for that. I can't join you.
yeah.
No worries. Just tell me. Just own it.
Mm.
These are my choices. These are my decisions.
That's a good.
It's
That's
a
good point.
very good point. Tough to do, but I think it would be better
Yeah.
if we all can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Like-
very good valid point because either way,
It's
it's
very
like
interesting.
this could be a good segue to not choosing is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like not choosing is a choice.
Yeah.
So everything we're always choosing and saying nothing is a
Yeah.
choice. And I think another thing could also be
It's true.
more time doesn't also mean more clarity. You just need better pathways. I'm guessing like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry to,
Yeah.
to clarify quickly
Yeah, go for
this point, right? That what I was saying, because I think clear example I just came to my mind. Imagine is success now. Sorry guys, I cannot do podcast anymore because now I'm in 2 projects at work.
Right.
Like you chose to do that 2 projects.
Right.
Mhm.
It wasn't the project's fault.
Exactly. And you chose then not to do the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But you came to me like, sorry, I can't do this anymore because now I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then my work changed. And
It's
well,
like,
actually,
Actually, I'm choosing.
I have way more respect for you. You tell me, hey, you know what? We need to talk. This is not going to work for me anymore. I would prefer, I'm choosing now to invest more at work. That the consequences are, I cannot do this.
That's a good point.
And I'm like, totally fine. Like, it's your decisions.
It's very, like, when you think about it, it's very basic. That one option sounds like you never thought about
Mhm.
your friends, and the other one
Yeah.
sounds like, oh, I actually thought about this
Yeah.
and I made a decision.
Yeah.
But
and,
also,
and I care about you guys. That's why I explained it. Yeah.
Mhm. And also, one just sounds like you are shaping, and the other one sounds like you're being shaped.
Yeah.
Like I'm choosing. I understand how I feel based on
I
that.
can't do this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops, something
Yeah.
bad happened. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I got married. I got married. Sorry. I can't.
Yeah, exactly. Whoops.
So
Whoops.
you didn't see the entire
Yeah.
years you were dating
Yeah.
of that coming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a valid point. True.
I love that you.
That's a good point. And then back to what you guys think of not deciding is a decision.
Yeah, I think a
Yeah.
great example there is, dating someone.
choose.
Mhm.
Because if you don't make that decision, you might not date that person at all.
Mm.
If you wait too long,
Mhm.
you need to start shaping. You need to make decisions to talk more to that person,
Mhm.
see if it's an option,
Mhm.
ask them out. All this
All this
basic
little
stuff, right?
stuff,
And that is a decision to do those things, right?
So are you encouraging boys to shoot their shot?
Well, you gotta. I think just talk to the person. Everyone makes it so complicated.
I think one
But yes, shoot your shots.
another that's connected for me, another mindset, right? Like this mindset of you are neutral. I'm not.
Neutral, yeah,
Let's say I'm dating. I'm just dating. Like
yeah,
I'm not moving forward, not backwards.
right.
I'm like it
It happened to you.
It happened,
It's just
Yeah.
happened.
but you're never neutral, and I think that's the thing with you can never be on standby. You're either moving forward or going backwards.
Yeah.
And I think even if you think you are, for the other person, maybe has the different expectations on the relationship,
Yeah.
and you're not moving it forward. You're telling the other person you're actually pulling backwards
Yeah.
because time is
But
running.
that's why breaking up is a very wise thing
Mhm.
to do, because what is the other option? You stay together until you have kids, and then it crashes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but it sucks, right, in the moment. But
Yeah.
it's actually shaping, right?
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
shaping your life. You're making decisions. It's not
Yeah.
whoops,
Yeah.
we got kids, and
Yeah.
now we hate each other.
You're not getting shaped, you are shaping. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's powerful. That's
Yeah,
powerful.
I mean, there's so many things that are easy to see on, how you say, on hindsight, like
Yeah, on hindsight. Yeah,
In hindsight. In hindsight.
In hindsight, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So when you look back, right?
Yeah,
so
when you look
it's so it's so easy to see things that you
Yeah.
also for yourself, right? Like,
For sure.
so no one is gonna save you all the because from that we also learn. But I also think that you don't need to make all the mistakes in the world to learn. You can learn from other people's mistakes.
100%.
Same way you cannot go and try all the drugs in the world to understand the drugs are bad for you, right? Like, you know, so that principle doesn't work because I heard many times like, oh, yeah, I need to learn from my own mistakes. I need to learn my kids learn from the mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not all of them.
Not everything.
Not everything.
They can't. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. And then what do you guys think of speed decision? Because this is
Yeah,
also
speed.
something I found out, like also read about, that most decisions can be made as way quicker than we believe. Like most times
Yeah.
the reply of I just need time to think about it
Mhm.
is most times because the person just doesn't know how to make it. Like, or I take that back. The people who make good decisions have frameworks for making those decisions, and that framework has less to do with time and just has more to do with the fact that the framework works.
Yeah.
So, for example,
Mm.
there was this thing when we were investing. It's like a good investor already knows what's a good pick from the beginning, and he doesn't have to sit on it for 10 years to know it's a good pick. If
No.
it's a good pick if it was a good pick 10 years ago, it would still be a good pick today, right? And the concept was that the problem isn't time, the problem is your wisdom in making decisions. That a wise person basically would know, okay, so I would define a wise person as someone who has clarity to basically discern what is right from what is wrong from the beginning, right? It's kind of having that clarity. And what do you guys basically think of people saying, I need more time? I need more time.
Yeah, I think it's wise. People that do that are very wise because when I think about it, I see it as a situation. You're maybe face to face, and someone asks you a hard question, and you don't, or maybe you have an answer, but you're not sure to answer that directly now.
Okay.
I think it's very wise to maybe you only need like 10 minutes, but you have 10 minutes where it's only you, and you don't have the social pressure of someone looking at you while you think, or the pressure someone like you're gonna see their disappointed face the first thing you do after the decision. I don't know. I think for some decisions it could be very wise to take some time to think, but I mean it's not years, right?
It's not years,
maybe
exactly.
it's 2 minutes. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's 2 minutes of thinking, not 2 minutes of
So of
reacting
taking
to the
time.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's
also like that part of leadership is really connected to making decisions, right?
Yeah.
So we all have capacity to lead, to learn leadership for our own lives. And I think I heard something really, really good as well about decision making. That was, if you wait too long to make a decision, it's not a decision anymore. It's a transition.
Jeez.
And that really got my attention. And I thought that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Because some things that eventually would transition into other things, and you did nothing for it to lead it. It just happened.
True.
Yeah.
But what about you? When you don't wait so long, maybe you can make some decisions that make that change,
Mm-hmm.
Way quicker.
right? And I think that's for companies or things like that. People have goals, they people like things, and they make decisions to change things to bring that increase.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Like people that don't make the decisions, either will go up by itself or will go down. But
Yeah.
it's just a transition into something else.
It's
And
true.
less of a them
Maybe the
making-
time to think is connected with worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Like because I guess it makes sense, if this decision is wrong, these two countries are in a war. Just an example. Maybe you need some time to think and some people to discuss. You need to
Yeah.
bounce some ideas, where to go next and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if the worst case scenario is like it doesn't work, so you have to come up with a new idea, then I guess it doesn't matter as much, right?
Mhm.
Like then I feel like that's how you can make quick decisions, right?
see.
Is if you do with what feels good in the moment, and you see if it works.
and see if you can. Basically, if the worst case scenario is less, then you can.
And I think part of it is also the instinct of the person, because you build that instinct by things that you know, that you build on your life, on your career, on anything. And for every decision, you cannot stop everything and look through all your textbooks and things that you learn to check. Let me check where I find this decision. It's something that you already assimilated. It's something that is in you, and that's why it moves you into one direction more than other, I think. But
They say,
right?
but I guess make me think, because they say people that are very smart and good at making decisions at work in programming, for example, the only difference is that they have lived those situations many times.
Yeah.
So it's actually just time lived through problems.
Time on attention.
So
Wow.
the exact
Yeah.
so why they are so quick to making decisions, because they tried it 3 times before and they know that this is probably gonna work.
Yeah.
And then they seem, oh wow, how did you learn that? And it's just they failed 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes maybe like seconds they know what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's a combination of multiple times of trying. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if I ask you like what mics are really good for podcasting, you probably won't research it again, because you have some good
Really
mics.
did, yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Shure SM7B easy.
And maybe maybe there's some new mics that came out that are even better, but in that decision, maybe it doesn't matter much,
Yeah.
but because you can always think, like, you can always find maybe better ways or worse ways, but for making quick decisions, I guess you go with something that you learn, maybe.
And it's that thing of as well knowing that you can always find a better way, right?
Yeah.
But right now we need this.
Yeah.
And
Right.
in 3 months' time we can talk again. Maybe we need a different thing, or in 1 year. And I think that constant is not, unless it's like a life death decision, but it's not.
Yeah.
Most of them, they're not like a catastrophe coming after it. It's more like, also I think trains you. It trains you to make decisions, to
For sure.
be able to distinguish more things, and not be scared of. Even like like my brother is a lot into investing in all these things, and he said in one of these lessons that he had on investment, that they encouraging them, even if it's a wrong choice, you need to be you need to make some decisions on investment, even if you lose money, because it will train you
to have conviction.
to have confidence of moving big amounts of money,
Right, yeah.
and not you need to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then for example, you can buy a parking spot,
Mhm.
right? It's just okay, but you're buying something, and it's a property, and so things like that he was telling me. I thought it's really
That's
interesting,
really
Yeah.
interesting.
because it trains you to make decisions in a level that you're not used to.
Used to. Yeah.
So I don't know. You probably know more about that as
Yeah.
well.
That's super interesting.
No, but it's true, because they always talked about, like, you have to treat your losers and winners the same way,
Mhm.
because the issue isn't whether you win or lose. The issue is whether you start doubting yourself, and then it's like you have to just run it the same way, because it's the same thing. I think even with basketball at the time, it's like our coach will always say, just shoot the ball the same way, let it leave your hand, whether it goes in or not doesn't matter. What we're training is your ability to shoot the ball the same way, not about
Right.
it entering. Because if Michael Jordan is not sure the last 3 seconds of the NBA finals, if he's going to shoot the ball or not shoot the ball, that is why he will miss.
Exactly.
The miss isn't coming from whether he misses or not doesn't really matter, I think, but because eventually he will make it if he continuously practices.
Yeah.
But
It's a percentage game, right? If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do it as similar as possible,
Yeah,
it's a high percentage going to go in, right?
exactly. And you have to live with the chance that the percentage is low.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe, then the percentages are definitely way low that it's
Right.
going to enter.
Yeah.
But our chances are high if you believe it's going to enter, which obviously that plays with practice and whatnot. But it also just comes with the fact that you have to believe that
Yeah.
you are doing the thing that needs to be
Connected to do what do you do under pressure?
Yeah,
What comes out?
Yeah.
The one thing that you know that you mastered, right?
Yeah.
exactly. And with that, let's wrap up this
Yes.
podcast.
I would say.
Yeah,
But speaking of,
That's really good. Yeah.
there was a moment in this podcast when Isaac was like, where Isaac was like, what did he say? You were like,
What did I do?
I like the work. I like the pressure.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, let's put his head in front of like Steph Curry or Michael Jordan. And it just gave me goosebumps. He was like, yeah, I love it. I love the pressure. Because it just sounded like something that those professional athletes would say. I was like, oh, okay, I hear you.
Yeah, but it's such a tricky thing, because too much pressure, or like maybe it's wrong pressure, can be the worst feeling ever.
Mm-hmm.
But then a lot of pressure where you feel like you're more in control, or like yeah, like that's why I think I liked sports or stuff that there's like, or like maybe instruments. There's like one way I can learn this and do this, and that is just playing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then, for example, being a CEO, for example, or entrepreneurship, it's like there's a million things,
Yeah.
and there's no like one simple
Yeah.
thing to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
which is true. I guess time will tell. Summary, guys, just
Fine.
make decisions. Don't think too hard about it. Analyze the worst case scenario. What else did I take away? I think there were some really good nuggets I personally took away. But I think for me,
Yeah.
the biggest one was the like own it and just be honest with yourself that you are choosing whatever you're choosing, and life doesn't
Yeah.
happen to you.
Mhm.
You happen
Yeah.
to life. Don't just be like I think that good thing of just being like, oh yeah, I'm studying now, so sorry. But it's like, no, I chose to study
Yeah,
and I'm choosing
exactly.
to do this
Exactly.
thing, which is, as you said, is just more respectable for if someone tells you that. Like most people don't talk like that.
I think that's so good. The whole
Yeah.
shaping or being shaped.
Shaped,
And
yeah,
I
like-
think
Yeah.
you actually like you are shaping your life a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you feel like you don't, but you're making a lot of decisions that are not just because it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some are wrong, but
Yeah.
you're actually shaping your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, which
really good.
Yeah, we can talk about how confident which is I think this whole conversation about conviction, and because it's really been something that's been on my mind of recent, of trusting your decision making skills. Because after a while, I think obviously like same thing. The more shots you make, after a while, you start to have confidence that you will hit the next shot, and I
Yeah.
think the less shots you make, you start to doubt your ability to make shots. But I
Yep.
think it's sometimes it means you have to slow back down, get closer to the rim, maybe move from the 3-point line to the 2-point line again, make some 2 points, and then you walk backwards. But I think it's part of the process.
I think for another time would be cool to talk about the what do you do when you lose confidence, because that's also real.
We haven't talked about confidence,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
good.
Sick picks.
Guys. So I could start.
You have one.
Go for it. Go for it. Just, yeah.
So, guys, I was on I was injured. We talked about this already. So yeah. During the time I watched the movie, which was on Amazon Prime, it's called Air. It was how
Oh, my sick pick.
let's
You have the same one?
I was just looking for it. I was like, it's really good.
It's such a good
Same
movie.
sick pick.
No way.
Yeah, we can have two people watch it. Come on, easy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We can have two
of,
people.
of course you can. You can do both.
It's
yeah,
really
of course.
good. Yeah.
Air.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
more.
It was about how Nike got Michael Jordan as the how they signed him basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's the story of how Michael Jordan, first of all, did not want to come to Nike.
Mhm.
He specifically wanted to go to Adidas. He said, I am going to go to any company that gives me, I think, 250,000 a Mercedes Benz, as long as it's not Nike. Those were his exact words.
Okay.
He didn't even want to meet with them. And
What was the reason he doesn't like Nike?
because Nike wasn't cool, they were for running.
True, they were so small.
They were
right?
running shoes at
Yeah.
the time.
17% of the market, I think. or
Market
so.
share was
They're
them.
tiny then.
Yeah, and I think like 50 something was Adidas. Also because Adidas
Oh, wow.
had Magic Johnson, Larry
Yeah,
Bird,
like the
all
cool
the
ones.
exactly. But also it was cool. There was something they said in the movie was like Adidas is like, I forgot what the short form was, but it was cool. Nike wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Nike was for runners and like people
Mhm.
who don't like. And
Yeah.
that wasn't basketball culture. Anyway, the summary was just about how the guys who were recruiting.
Yeah.
The main guy who went through the process of like, first of all, they had to cut everybody because they didn't have a big budget, so they only put all their money into Michael. He broke some rules and talked to the parents because you're not allowed to do that. Like you're not allowed to not go through the agent.
Oh,
Don't,
yeah.
don't tell the whole movie. so
Yeah,
because
yeah, but-
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah, but summary of it was such a good movie, and I think it was really inspirational also to see what it takes. First of all, leading a small team and going against a big giant is really
Yeah.
this whole like small person
yeah.
going against, and also how you can take advantage of the small you have to make really big impacts. And that year, that was really when Nike just exploded. Like the biggest shoe they had sold was like 3 million, like an athlete selling a shoe.
Yeah.
And I think Michael
Wow.
did a
He
100.
made it, but he made his own brand from it, right? The
Yeah,
Jordans
exactly.
are Jordans just Nikes?
No, they are Jordans. They are Jordans.
That's another story.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like a
Okay.
it's like a sub, but they're on
we're
their
not
own
gonna
completely.
we're not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
spoil that.
But anyway, the summary was like I think he did like 164 million
Yeah.
in
Wow.
6
In the
months.
first year.
Yeah, it was even
yeah,
up to a
yeah,
year,
Yeah.
which was like
That makes me think. Have you seen King Richard?
Yeah.
movie. It
No,
makes
I
me think
haven't
about
seen
that.
it.
How
Yeah.
how the not Serena Williams, but the other Williams didn't want to take a deal, and then it looked like she was gonna lose all the deals, but then it ended up like
Yeah.
working out for her, right? I need to watch the movie. I know you guys
It's a great
talked about
movie.
it before as well.
I didn't even know Serena had a sister that was so good.
really? No.
No,
Because
That
they used to
was-
do the
I mean,
twin. the
I
twin.
haven't
Yeah,
really
they
followed
were both
anything,
really
but
good, really
but
good.
Serena, everyone has heard
Yeah,
about
everybody
almost.
knows about.
Yeah, so same. Like
yeah.
Same.
I like that the storyline and the actors are really good.
Yeah.
And the story, I think it's just cool to pick that little story, right? And then not like a movie on, I don't know, you could do a movie on Mark and Jordan. You could do, I don't know, something, but it's like this thing about like what you said, a small team on sales, like how can we break the mold? Like everything looks like set for Adidas, for Converse.
Exactly,
That were really,
at the time, Converse at the time.
yeah. And just to see that, and I think it's really well done. Humor is good, like it's really, really well done, right?
And it's a good movie. It's like
I need to watch that.
nowadays they're not making good movies like that.
I watched it in the cinema,
Really?
and then it came with Amazon Prime,
It came with Amazon
and
Prime,
I watched
fucked
it. I watched it. I think a couple of days ago again with Sheila at home.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. It's a really good movie.
Okay, because of that, I'm gonna do one mini sick pick just before the main sick pick. So my mini sick pick is I tried it in New York. It's Amazon Go, I think it's called.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Have you heard about it?
No.
Heard about it? Yeah.
So it's just
Is it gorillas or?
no, it's just a little grocery market where you never interact with anyone. So you just take, and it's all camera. So you just take the thing from the store, and when you take it from the shelf, it automatically connects it to your account. So you just take it, take it, put it back. You can take it many times. It follows everything, and then you just take it and you just walk out, and it pulls the money from your Amazon account.
Wow.
Crazy.
All cameras.
Yeah.
It's no scanning products, nothing. You just take it.
I tried something similar at IKEA this week.
Really?
Yeah, which is you have an app, and then as you pick the products from the shelves, you scan them.
Okay.
So you have them all in your app. At the end, when you gonna walk out, you generate code.
Yeah.
The code lasts for 5 minutes, and you scan it,
And it's
you
all?
and you pay.
Oh, it's perfect.
That's all.
I need to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Wow,
Because
that's
I love
cool.
that. Because otherwise, you have to scan it again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
do it on the go, so you don't need to exactly.
That's super good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that must mini sick pick
Yeah.
because you can't really try it
Yeah.
here in Berlin. But it's cool. The technology is really cool. I think it's the future of grocery markets. Because, well.
Yeah, but it's also going to be tough for anybody apart. I can't see anybody apart from Amazon doing that. Like Amazon just
Why?
has such a large market share.
No, but
be-
like Rewe, why would they not be able
because
to
you
do
would
it?
have to register, you would have to do all the things. They would have to have your
But on the
accounts
long
online.
term, I think would pay off.
So
You
what-
don't need to pay.
No, so what
Yeah.
I think it's just the camera system that would be such a good future because what happens is when you're done, like there's a little gate. So what you do is just tap your card and then you're done.
Yeah,
So you
Mhm.
like
yeah.
you
I
don't
get
have to
what
have
you
account, you
mean.
don't have anything. You
Mhm,
boop,
mhm.
and then you go out.
That's true.
But then it's the
That's
same
also
thing like
very
IKEA.
Yeah.
Only that you have your phone. Your phone is the camera
Yeah,
to scan every code.
Mhm.
yeah. So the only
Yeah.
difference is that you don't have to scan anything. You just take
Yeah.
the thing, and the cameras know what you
It's
take.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, but my main pick is actually the Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is the Zelda game that came out many years ago,
Mhm.
but it got hyped again now because the second game, or like not the second, but the game that comes after
Mhm.
came out a week ago.
About a week ago.
So
a week ago.
I started playing the older one on the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, and it's so fun. I heard about it that it was so good and stuff, but I never got into it. It didn't look like a game for me, but it's cool because it's an open world and they
Mhm.
work a lot with physics and stuff. For example, if you put down some wood on the floor and then you throw a flint and then you hit the flint with a iron axe, it creates fire.
Wow.
Stuff like that, and yeah, it's a really cool game.
Interesting.
I played Zelda when I was young, like
Yeah?
the old one.
It's
Yeah.
the same basic things,
Yeah.
just that it's open
Yeah.
world now. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, cool.
you'll probably like it. That's it. Thank you guys for
Oh.
listening.
Thank you guys.
A pleasure.
For listening. This
Yeah.
was good. I
See you
enjoyed
next
the
week.
podcast.
Have fun.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Ciao.